Russia is the 16th largest export economy in the world. This infographic gives you an insight of the 10 most exported goods of the country. Countries Russia exports the most to are the Netherlands, China, Germany, Belarus and Turkey. Among the most imported goods of Russia are industrial and electric machineries, vehicles and pharmaceutics. Top import destinations are China, Germany, Belarus, Italy and the US. After several countries imposed sanctions against Russia in 2014, Russia has banned several food imports, showing their dependency on a variety of different products. Nevertheless, Russia has become an important player in global agricultural markets, as in 2016 it was the third largest wheat exporter of the EU and United States. Official development assistance in 2010 amounted to $472 million. Russia's assistance is primarily provided indirectly by writing off debts of developing countries and by providing humanitarian aid, grants and trade preferences. Russia possesses the second largest freshwater reserves after Brazil. The water utility sector is one of the largest industries in the country. The mounting demand for water as a major resource implies that its importance as a strategic asset will only grow in the future.
Russia is the third largest producer of oil in the world and the second largest producer of natural gas. This makes Russia powerful and vulnerable at the same time. If prices are high, Russia can exert its influence over its neighbors and trade partners, thus can have a strongest foreign policy. When prices are low, however, Russia's aggression and influence are vulnerable, so it keeps a more friendly and soft foreign policy. Gazprom is the main oil company from Russia and supplies 27% of Europe's gas and 100% of gas of 6 of European countries. This means there's a huge Russian influence in Europe, yet fracking is making this influence decrease. Russia holds 6.4% of world's oil total proved reserves. According to VP, Russia has the second largest exporter of crude oil in 2015 and 2016. Added to that, Russia is in a diplomatic cold war with Greenland for the control over the Arctic. There are important natural resources in the area which are becoming more available with global warming. For the moment when the poles melt, having control over the Arctic areas with potential natural reserve would mean increase of economic power of the countries. According to the conditions established by the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, there is an area of dispute between Russia and Greenland which both claim they have the right of belonging. In 2007, as a proof of power, a Russia-led polar expedition descended through the icy waters of the Arctic Ocean to plant a titanium Russian flag beneath the North Pole.
According to the United Nations' latest estimation, the Russian Federation is a country with a total population of 144,342,000 people. Russian median age is 38.9 years. 72.8% of the population is urban. Moscow, the capital city, is the biggest city by population. Life expectancy is 70.8 years. Crude death rate is 13 per 1,000 people. It has severely increased from other years such as 1996. Infant mortality rate is 7 per 1,000 kids. It is high compared to other neighborhood countries such as Finland. Russia-Ukraine is the second largest migration corridor. However, in migration trends, Russia has shown a big recession. As a result of this, Central Asian immigrants had increased their numbers. For example, the Uzbek immigrants have decreased by 18%. Due to low oil prices and a weak economic growth, Russian remittance flow are very low. Located among the countries with the lowest cost centers of remittances. Nowadays, there are almost 30 million Russians by ethnicity living outside of the country. Germany is the country that has the biggest Russian diaspora. Among former Soviet Union countries, Ukraine has the biggest ethnically Russian diaspora.
Russia is a great power as well as a regional power, and has been characterized as a potential superpower. Moscow projects its regional influence through two main organizations, the Eurasian Economic Union and the Collective Security Treaty Organization. Through these, it prevents its neighbors from qualifying for the European Union while intensifying its economic dominance. Moreover, Russia maintains strong and positive relations with other BRIC countries. For instance, it shares extensive defense and strategic relations with India, and it has strengthened bilateral ties with China. Russia also participates in some of the most important UN peacekeeping missions in the world, with a focus on the African continent, where the country presents the majority of its involvement. However, in the last decade, there has been a dramatic downturn in Russia's relations with the West because of the Russian intervention in the Syrian conflict and also due to the annexation of Crimea.
Russia is, with 54, the second country in the world with more military bases in the world, followed by the UK and France, and only surpassed by the US. These military bases can be found in Eastern Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Russia is also the third country with highest military expenditure in the world, after the US and China. In addition, Russia is also, after the US, the largest arms exporter in the world. Regarding military and security alliances of Russia, it is important to speak about the Collective Security Treaty Organization, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. From these ones, I would like to remark the Shanghai Cooperation Organization because there are powerful countries like India, Pakistan, and China. Finally, regarding military interventions, it's important to say that since the Russian Federation was founded in the year 91, Russia has taken part in 12 different military interventions around the world. Currently, Russia is involved in 3 different wars. One is the insurgency in the North Caucasus, the Ukraine war, and the Syrian war.
The majority of aid provided by Russia is channeled to countries belonging to the Commonwealth of Independent States, particularly to the states in Central Asia. Russia's relative generosity to these countries reflects a desire to maintain its influence in the region. In general, we can say that Russia's soft power tools are particularly directed to the former Soviet countries. To this end, Russia has founded a wide range of public diplomacy institutions such as the Russian World Foundation or the Federal Agency for the Commonwealth of Independent States. They are supposed to bolster emotional attachment to Russia, benefiting from their common ties. Russia's ability to create its own information space guarantees a large public opinion in line with the views of the Kremlin. In fact, Central Asian public opinion still mostly consumes Russian media. The Kremlin has made it a priority to invest in the media realm, and it molds information also using measures of retaliation, such as cyber attacks. Russia aims to preserve the Russian culture in these countries through institutions that promote the Russian language and culture and that develop scientific and educational exchanges. One of the main institutions created to this end is the aforementioned Russian World Fund. The Russian government thus encouraged regional student exchange in an attempt to expand its influence and soft power in other former Soviet republics. Thus, the vast majority of foreign students in Russia